Hello YouTube, and welcome to the big bad and beautiful world of Just Cause 3. Now, I'm making a video after having probably 165 hours of playtime in this game, and I just wanted to address something before we get this new DLC Sky Fortress, which is going to fundamentally change a lot of things about the current Wingsuit, because I feel that people aren't using the Wingsuit to its maximum potential, and by that I mean they don't use it like a badass. Let's be honest here, Just Cause 3 is mainly about the style of things. That's pretty much what the whole game is about. Wingsuiting, blowing up stuff, and looking like a goddamn superhero while you do it. But people seem to have forgotten how a superhero moves. One of the things that frustrates me so much about seeing content made for this game is that people don't seem to know how to use the wingsuit in a way that looks cool. And the main purpose of the video today is to show you some advanced techniques relating to the wingsuit and parachute combo. And the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to turn around properly. One of the worst things I see in this game is when people make content of themselves wingsuiting around and they turn like an idiot. The most common way that I see people turn around in this game is so slow. They'll be wingsuiting along, and then in order to turn around, what they'll do is open up their parachute and then close the parachute, open back up their wingsuit while facing the other direction, and use that in order to turn around. The other way, they pull up and then put the air brakes on and do like a sort of slow turn around, and then you lose all your momentum and it's so slow and it just looks really trashy. So what I'm going to teach you today, I call the slingshot. In order to do the slingshot, you're going to have the wingsuit modification that allows you to reel in from wingsuiting. What you'll see is that if you're traveling fast enough, when you reel in, you will slightly overshoot your target and do a slingshot backwards. Now, one of the things that people don't seem to realize is that you can reopen your wingsuit from the slingshot action, which looks so much better than the ways that I previously mentioned. And on top of looking better, it's also functionally better because you keep much more of your momentum than you do in the other methods. Now, I don't expect you to get the hang of this immediately. There is a little bit of a nuance to the slingshot maneuver. If you don't time reopening your wingsuit with the slingshot animation properly, you'll slam into the ground, and that's exactly what we're trying not to do. The purpose of this technique is to keep up your momentum and that feeling of Rico Rodriguez, that physics-defying wizard that looks like a complete badass as he's trashing an entire continent worth of military assets. The second technique that I want to get into isn't so much a technique in and of itself as it is an understanding of how the game works. The wingsuit is Rico's fastest method of travel without being inside of a vehicle, but that doesn't mean that it is always the fastest option available to him. Your parachute is your best friend, but it seems to be foregone in favor of the wingsuit in almost every scenario, and it's something that I just don't understand. The parachute is such a key and integral part of your movement options while going fast. The thing that people don't seem to understand is that it is always faster to pull out your parachute and save yourself from a collision than it is to have your finger clip the side of a tree and lose all of your momentum from wingsuiting because you have to get up off the ground, retether onto the ground, and slingshot off again. Your parachute will hold a lot of the momentum that you give it if you open and close it fast enough. What you need to understand is that the wingsuit is most effective when you are within tether range of the ground. You will be able to use the boost that you get from the tether range, and this is the fastest way in order to actually move around. Flying very high in the sky isn't nearly as fast as it is to just tether rapidly between points on the ground. By using the parachute in tandem with the wingsuit, you're able to keep yourself under control as you're moving at blistering speeds throughout the environment. There are a few properties about the parachute that make it far superior to the wingsuit in specific conditions. For instance, the parachute does not lose its momentum upon collision. As soon as you clip any object in the game while wingsuiting, you will fall out of it into a tumble mode. And while you're in this tumble mode, you're unable to right yourself in order to continue wingsuiting. The only way to do that is to tether onto the ground first, and this, on top of being slow, looks bad, which is once again what we're trying to get rid of. The third technique is one that I think a lot of people already know, but I thought I'd mention it regardless. You are actually able to attain an infinite amount of flight. By deploying the parachute while wingsuiting, you're able to elevate yourself without any interference from external sources. I found that the most effective way to do this is to only pull up when you're wingsuiting. Just make sure that when you deploy the parachute you don't input any movement commands or you won't generate as much lift. This technique is incredibly useful when you're traveling over water and you don't want to have to go through the hassle of finding boats to tether to. The final two things that I want to talk about specifically relate to the wingsuit challenges. One of the biggest difficulties that I see people face is that they're not able to reliably slow down their momentum in order to get through the rings with a perfect score. The biggest reason for this seems to be stemming from the air brake modification. Whenever I use the air brake, I seem to lose a lot more momentum than I wanted. So when I go through ring challenges, I tend not to use the air brake modification at all. In fact, usually I turn it off so that I don't just reflexively press it. The way that I've found to be most effective in slowing down in challenges is by taking a steep dive and pulling up in order to slow down. By doing this, you slow down your momentum in a wide arc rather than the short burst that you get from using the air brake. If you watch the way in which I'm controlling Rico now, you'll see that I dive quite low before I pull up, and pulling up harshly is the way in which I slow down. I don't use the air brake at all during this challenge, but I'm able to consistently hit perfects on all of the rings. Just as a side note, one of the reasons why I love this game so much is while I was recording this just to get some footage in order to show you what I was talking about, I'm doing this wingsuit challenge and this random ass train that's going past just explodes and blows up all over the mountainside. I mean, that's just as bad as Just Cause 3 as you get, boys. I mean, this is why we're here, for random stuff like this. Lastly isn't so much a technique as I think it was an oversight by the creators of the game. When you end up coming to these ring challenges that have multiple pathways, a lot of people seem to struggle and freak out that they don't know which pathway might net them the most points or which pathway will be easiest. These are by far the easiest ring challenges because when you get to the end, you don't actually finish until you go through the green ring. You can actually turn back towards the course and go back and collect a lot of the rings that are close to the ground near the end of them in order to gain the points you need to get the 5 gears. Remember that once you actually have the 5 gears, you don't need to go through one of the green finishing rings, you can just end wherever you wanted. Anyway guys, I hope you found some of these techniques useful. If anyone could give me a pointer as to why OBS is recording Just Cause 3 with this weird grainy effect, that'd be great. For some reason, whenever I do this on League, I don't end up with this issue, but any sort of video that I try to record that isn't League, I get this really granular effect which looks trash, and I'm sorry, this is just a weird recording issue. Anyway, thanks for listening, and I hope you like my new microphone, by the way. Anyway, catch you guys later. Peace!